Hi, I'm Curtis Tucker.
And I am Maggie Lou Tucker.
We are recording this video again. This is a very important subject and it's very involved. It's the difference between Florida Virtual School full-time and Florida Virtual School FLEX.
Okay, so the first thing we want to tell you is that we want to talk about diplomas. With Florida Virtual School full-time, FLVS is who issues the diploma to your child. Because if your child is enrolled in FLVS full-time, they're in a public school. And that school is FLVS and they issue the diploma.
Yeah. In Florida Virtual School FLEX, you're in the homeschooling program. It's the same classes, same credits, but you will issue the diploma as a homeschool director, just like any private school director. And there are several places where you can get your diplomas that are beautiful, perfect for hanging on the wall, setting on the desk, taking photographs with, perfect. But it's beautiful. It's perfectly legal and valid as any other school.
Yes, it's in the Florida statutes, and not only do parents of students who are in Florida Virtual School FLEX issue the diploma, but they also issue the students' transcripts. And all of those documents are legal and equally viewed as any other school transcripts and diplomas in the state of Florida. It's in our statutes.
I spoke with a parent the other day that I was doing the evaluation of their youngest child. Their oldest children have graduated from college, and she was recalling to me, very experienced, been homeschooling for 20 years in the state of Florida. She said they sent transcripts to at least 30 universities and colleges for each of her other two older children. Homeschool issued transcripts to out-of-state and in-state universities and colleges, never questioned, always revered. Yeah, it's wonderful.
The next thing we want to talk about is testing. So, if your child is in Florida Virtual School full-time, then they are required by law to do all end-of-course exams and FSA, Florida State Assessment Testing, pardon me.
FSA, Florida State Assessment.
That's by law. They are required to do that. Because FLVS is a public school, the full-time section is a public school.
Yes, so they're required. They are assigned the school to go to. I spoke with a parent the other day, asked me to do the evaluation because she did not realize they talked her into signing up her child for Florida Virtual School full-time, and she got the paperwork where she was going to have to take her child for 7 days to a school to do testing, and she was pretty much flabbergasted and in shock. She had no idea that's what was going to happen.
However,
and she is not going to do it. She doesn't have to. The child is registered as a homeschool student, but because she put them on Florida Virtual full-time, even though they're registered with the county as a homeschool student, she's now a public student. She has to switch. She has to, which is no problem. She has to switch from full-time to FLEX. That's another video. Watch that.
Yeah, but however, for FLEX students,
there's no test required.
Yes, like Curtis said, we made a separate video all about testing so you could understand why, the whys and why nots of testing and which kind of tests you would want to use. So please, if you are interested in that, please check out that other video. But now what we're going to talk about is scheduling. Okay, so with Florida Virtual School full-time, because it's a public school, you're on their schedule. So you have to follow the public school schedule.
With Florida Virtual School FLEX, it's completely your schedule. You can sign up for classes anytime, 12 months throughout the year. And the schedule that you have to follow on full-time is certain amounts of time for each subject area, Monday through Friday. With FLEX, it's anytime you want, no certain amounts of time. The students do their work when they can and actually set the pace with the teacher.
Yeah, so with FLEX, the schedule is yours. And with full-time, the schedule is theirs, the public schools. Okay, the next thing we need to talk about is course load. Now, when your student is enrolled in Florida Virtual School full-time, they're required to take a full course load that the school tells them to take. Whatever courses those are, they cannot deviate from that.
with Florida Virtual School Flex, you can sign your children up for whatever classes they want. When we first started and decided we were going to try Florida Virtual School with our children, our oldest child took photography. And she got through that course and understood how modules and DBAs and assignments worked. And she liked it okay. She handled it well. The subject was good for her, photography. There was an excellent teacher with that. And it was good. So after that, we tried
core classes.
Yeah, and once again, it was on our time what classes we wanted to take when we wanted to take them.
Exactly.
How many? Everything.
So in other words, just to sum it up, with Flex, the parent is who decides the child's course load. The parent decides how many classes the child takes, depending on the child's ability and your lifestyle and your, how your family dynamics work and your personal schedule. That's the difference. With full-time, the school tells you what to do.
Complete
Next
parental
one,
choice.
Yeah, with Flex. Okay, the next one is class approval. Okay, so in Florida's Virtual School full-time, this kind of goes in hand with the last topic. If your child is in Florida Virtual School full-time, the school approves the courses that your child takes. So you are beholden to them to tell you whether or not your child can take a class or not. Now this is kind of important because if your child is accelerated and maybe they're in 6th grade but they want to take a 9th grade class because they're that smart, you still have to get the approval of the guidance counselor and go through their hoops of whether they want to approve you or not. And sometimes they give you a hard time. We've had parents tell us that. It wasn't very easy. They had to fight for it. However,
well, in Flex, what we have learned is that they can do any course at the grade level you set them at or above. You can choose, for example, like our second child was taking pre-algebra, which was an 8th grade class. So we had her officially in the 8th grade, but she absolutely just absorbs history. So she, at the same time of taking the 8th grade pre-algebra class, in the 8th grade, she signed up for a U.S. History 10th grade honors class. Not a problem. No questions asked. That's in the Flex department.
Now, the reason for this is because when you're homeschooling, you, the parent, are the guidance counselor of your school. So you're the one who decides whether or not your student, your child, is able to do whatever classes you want them to do. So that is why you are the one who approves what courses they take. As opposed to Florida Virtual full-time, you are depending on them to approve whatever you want your child to take.
That's right.
Alrighty, next one is enrollment. Okay, so in Florida Virtual School full-time, you only have 3 times a year that you can enroll your child. You can enroll them in August, you can enroll them in January, and you can enroll them in June. That's it. If you need to do it at any other time during the year, you're out of luck because you have to wait until their times to enroll. That's with Florida Virtual School full-time. They're very, very rigid as far as enrollment. However,
I already mentioned this one because, as I said before, with Flex, 12 months out of the year, anytime, as they finish a course, they can sign up for the next one. I reviewed the transcripts of a student the other day from evaluation, and she was taking 4 classes at a time, which is a pretty good load. 4 classes at a time, and as she finished, and she seemed to be finishing 2 at a time, she would have 4 classes, and 2 she would finish, 2 she would have a little bit more to do. As she finished the first 2, she would pick up 2 more, then she would finish the next 2 that she was doing, she would pick up 2 more. She actually did about 20 plus credits in 13 months.
it was amazing.
By doing 4 classes at a time at her own pace. With the full-time, as often in the public school, they slow you down.
Right, because you're on their schedule.
Now, if your student, of course, if your child is going slower, 4 classes is way too much, they can do just 1 or 2 classes, 3 at a time. 3 is optimal, I think, and so as they finish a class, they go on to another one and take a break in between and casually, do it at their own pace. That's the beauty of Flex is that they can do it however you see that it's best for them.
Exactly. The next thing we want to talk about is teachers. So in Florida Virtual School full-time, they have a set department of teachers. They're not the same teachers as Flex. And the teachers that work in full-time have smaller time frames in which you can actually get in touch with them and speak to them or ask them questions or whatever. So I think it's 8 to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday is the only times that you can talk to them. And we have heard, we don't know ourselves because we've never had a child in full-time, but we have heard from parents that it's sometimes very, very difficult to get a hold of teachers in the full-time program.
Everyone I know that's done the full-time says it's very difficult to even get emails once a month.
However,
that's what a parent told me the other day too.
Flex,
once a month. Well, with Flex, the teachers are awesome. With our experience and everybody we know, their schedule is from 8 to 8. It's a different set of teachers. Their department, the Flex department teachers, work from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and we've had teachers schedule a tutoring time for 8:45 with our child in chemistry and be on the phone, on the computer, walking through chemistry problems at 9 o'clock at night. And those teachers in Flex, they're super helpful and they're very just available and flexible. They are.
Yes. Okay, so the last important topic we want to talk about. Now there are other differences between Florida Virtual School, full-time, and Flex, but these are the ones that most parents seem to want to know about or need to know about because these are the things you're going to base your decisions on whether or not you want to use Florida Virtual School for your child's education, whether it is homeschooling or via their public school option. The last thing is class start time, and we already touched on it a little bit. It's hard not to because all of these kind of overlap a little bit. But with Florida Virtual School full-time, your child has to start when everybody else starts. And they have to end when everybody else ends. So the start time with full-time is very rigid. However, as opposed to Florida Virtual School Flex, your child can start a class today, and then in a month they could start another class, and in the next month they can start another class. They can stagger the classes, which is very helpful. You can help us, explain
No, I was
that
lip syncing my part.
Oh, sorry.
The Flex part.
Yeah. So,
But
yeah. So with class start time with Flex,
it's whenever they want. I just said it. You were throwing your voice. Yeah. So the rumors and propaganda, a lot of it is it's very mixed with Florida Virtual School. But from what I hear, here are the two main schools of thought that I hear from the propaganda. And I'll start with the number one, and it's with full-time. And so the main school of thought there through the county and the virtual school is Florida Virtual is great and it's wonderful. And they don't mention really the difference between full-time and flex. They just say, here's the Florida Virtual School format, and it's the full-time. Yeah. They don't really distinguish the difference between it, and you're signed up for full-time.
But some parents need to know the problem with that is that not that one is better than the other, but the fact that as a parent, we need to be informed of everything so that we can make the best choice for our child. The best choice for our child isn't what's best for the school. And of course, what's best for the public schools is that, they want everybody to be in their school. Well,
even online.
Yeah, whether online or not. And that's not necessarily what's best for your child or our child. But if they don't give us all the information so we can make an informed decision, that's really what we have a problem with. Not that one is better than the other, and we're just presenting the actual information, the actual differences, because you need to know so you can make the best decision for your child.
And the fact is there's extra federal funding for every child signed up as a public student, even online with Florida Virtual. The other prevalent rumors that go around about the virtual school by parents that, as parents have told me, gone into what they told them to do. They wanted to do Florida Virtual. They did what they said, you need to do this and that. They don't tell them what the differences are, and they sign them up for full time. as a parent told me the other day, it was a total train wreck. I had to sign up for this and this and this and this. My child was totally overwhelmed. Happens very often. Florida Virtual.
With full-time.
Yeah, and so the prevalent rumor there is, oh my goodness, stay away from Florida Virtual. And that's wrong too. That's bad. That's wrong. That's not true, because they're not knowing the differences but in all the options that you can have with Florida Virtual. Florida Virtual School is great. You just need to know exactly what the options are, so what your goals are with your children and what their needs are and their talents are and their level of learning and pace of learning and everything is addressed in the way you want. You can use virtual school very effectively in many ways. One of the things about that is that also that adds to the rumors of virtual school, and it's the public school online, because a lot of people that take their children out of schools for very good reasons. And there is a time, there's a small transition time of 6 months, 6 to 12 months on transitioning on doing homeschooling on your own pace. And there's also a longer time period from deprogramming from the stress. A lot of children are taken out of the school, not only for, but one of the big factors is the stress that they have. They have developed stress disorders from being in that atmosphere of teaching to the test and pressured by the test and pressured by the other students in all different ways, and all the trauma. It all builds up and adds up. So children are taken out at 3rd grade or 5th grade. Many children that are taken out because of all those things, they have to really settle in with, they're not going to be pressured now. They're doing it with you. And so the virtual school could be a really good thing, but they don't want to have anything to do with the public curriculum, a lot of those students, because they have been completely stressed and scared and bullied verbally and even physically. But verbally, you're not going to pass, you're not going on to the next grade, you better get this done. And so when you mention, the virtual school online, a lot of the students and a lot of the parents are like, no way, I don't want to have anything to do with that anymore. You need to step back, settle into the home schooling and network with everybody, network with us, and figure out exactly what you need. And you could use virtual school in a very good and effective way. It really can be done.
Well, thank you for watching, and we hope we answered some of your questions and cleared things up for you. But if you have other questions, please feel free to put them in the comments section, and we'll try to answer them. They're right below this video. And
get in touch with us anytime.
Yes.
We'd be happy to help.
Thanks for watching.